Welcome to Meet the Candidates, the local election forum from Pioneer PBS. This season, we asked every candidate the same list of questions to learn more about what type of legislator they will be if elected. In this episode, we will meet candidates from Minnesota House District 12A. District lines have changed since the 2020 census. District 12A is made up of Big Stone, Stevens, and Swift counties, and portions of Pope and Stearns counties. Major cities include Ortonville, Morris, Benson, and Glenwood. To find out which district you live in, visit mnvotes.org. And now, let's meet the candidates. We will start with the DFL candidate, Edie Barrett.
Thank you so much for the invitation to be here. My name is Edie Barrett. I live in Ortonville, and I am the endorsed DFL candidate for the Minnesota House District 12A. I am a fifth-generation Minnesotan. I attained my bachelor's degree in sociology from the University of California, Santa Barbara, and I remained on the West Coast for 26 years. I worked for nearly 10 years in nonprofit program development, finance, and administration with a focus on high-risk youth. I then worked in educational administration at an International Graduate School of Psychology for over 13 years. When I returned to Minnesota in 2010, I decided to do something completely different, and I immersed myself in my lifelong love and passion of the arts. I have also had a long-term interest in leadership, and this led me to go back and further my education. I just attained my master's degree in public affairs from the Hubert H. Humphrey School of Public Affairs, which is part of the University of Minnesota. I just graduated this past May. That degree focuses on leadership, research, and policy. I did my minor at the Bakken Center for Spirituality and Healing. My graduate capstone project was in agriculture and soil health practices. Essentially, we explored the barriers that exist between technical assistance and farmers for the adoption of soil health practices. My area of presentation was on trust and relationship and how those two factors influence behavioral change.
Why do you want to be the representative for your district?
My family's history stretches over District 12A. My great-great-grandfather, Ole Wald, is buried in Crow River, along with other relatives. My great-grandparents are buried in Clinton, 10 miles north of my home. I'm here because I believe it is a calling. Whether my calling is through God or my ancestors, I believe I'm meant to be in service to this region and the people in it. I believe I can and I will make a difference. These are complicated times with a lot at stake. We need people at the table who are innovative thinkers, inclusive bridge builders, and committed to improving the lives and the opportunities for our rural residents. American poet Amanda Gorman was recently interviewed. She stated that when her mom was growing up, her mother was told, go out and change the world. Her young generation is told, go out and save the world. For those of us who are on the front lines of social responsibility and leadership, we must do both. Understanding that we are responsible and accountable not only for this generation, but for future generations. The effective leaders of today must be prepared to have courageous conversations, face our challenges head-on to find solutions, not simply fall back on fear and blame tactics or fabricate reality to serve personal or political gains. I am prepared to have courageous conversations, find solutions, champion personal freedoms, quality rural life, support farmers and agriculture, and advocate for biodiversity and environmental commitments. At this moment in time, I believe I am the right person for the job.
What are your priorities for the next legislative session?
I prioritize civility, decency, transparency while upholding our democracy. If we don't get better at simply being human and finding our shared values, it makes it very difficult to negotiate issues. I prioritize reproductive justice in women's health care, The Dobbs decision regarding Roe v. Wade has reduced issues of safety regarding women's health care. It is not my business, nor is it government's business, to be involved in the private lives of women's health. Healthcare in general, for me, is a priority. This includes the cost, access, and availability of specialists. Ensuring the stability of the infrastructure for rural medical care is essential for supporting rural communities. Inflation, I feel it like everyone else. Those of us who live rurally get hit extra hard. Regional travel is part of rural life, and travel expenses have gone up. Local business costs have gone up due to expenses in the delivery chain. Addressing inflation is a complex issue, but I will do everything I can to curb inflation, especially for our rural communities. I am a huge education proponent. I believe that education opens our understanding and imagination into what is possible. Education supports lifelong opportunities of engagement, whether that be personal, social, or professional. Climate impact is all around us. The beauty of our natural resources is in peril due to the long-term effects of industry and recreation. It is essential we develop new ways of protecting our natural resources, along with increasing our engagement with nature. These are a few of my priorities for the next legislative session.
What unique perspective do you bring to the Minnesota House?
There's a quote that I appreciate by Albert Einstein. It is as follows: "We cannot solve our problems with the same thinking we used when we created them." While I believe experience is a strong asset, we need new people at the table with fresh ideas, new insights, new strategies, and new solutions. All of my professional life was spent in the field of psychology. For the past 40 years, my experience and commitment to that field has served me well in terms of my own self-understanding, but also in working with others to negotiate, compromise, find common ground, and have productive working relationships. I am also a solo exhibiting fine artist and writer. In my first class at the Humphrey, we had a reading by a woman by the name of Sharon Parks. Essentially, she said that the myth of the hero as leader is fading away because no one person has all the ideas. According to her, what is emerging in the culture is creativity and the arts as important collaborative forms of leadership. The arts bridge differences and cross divides. Creativity is a leadership strength in today's world. The arts provide for me a lens in which to imagine possibilities and think outside the rectangle. Regardless of your political affiliation, my goal is to work towards creating and supporting policies which serve you and work towards healing social and political divisions. I am guided by a strong sense of ethics and values. I believe in science, history, research, and evidence. In addition, I always apply common sense approaches to advancing the interests of our rural communities. I believe our strongest asset is our people, who deserve the support and resources that allow them and their families to prosper in rural Minnesota.
What is your vision for the future of Minnesota?
I want all of our residents to thrive in opportunity, health, and quality of life. Thriving communities include care for our most vulnerable citizens, the growing number of rural elderly, our children, and the need for affordable, quality childcare, and those in the shadows, the poor, those suffering from illnesses of all forms, and the new Minnesotans doing our most difficult jobs and trying to get established in our communities. Overcoming our current challenges are in the best interest of Minnesota and, on a larger level, our nation. As Minnesotans, we pride ourselves on a long lineage of values in doing what's right, just, and ethical. We are a state of innovative thinkers. We pride ourselves in leadership. The health and well-being of our residents contributes to the health, productivity, and the economic vitality of our cities, region, and state. Our natural landscapes and lakes are a wellspring of evidence-based health and psychological benefit resources. It's time we reimagine how we live in our state and how we engage with each other by responsibly providing for our residents and our unique biodiversity of species and habitats. We invest in the vitality and health of our residents, but also in the state of Minnesota. Especially over the last few years, we have changed. Our families have changed. The world has changed. This moment is an invitation to reimagine and embrace what we want our future to be. All of our residents have a dream of what they want their life to look or feel like. All of our residents deserve to live a life with meaning. My vision for the future of Minnesota is that we work together and make those dreams a reality.
And now, a closing statement.
For my conclusion, I would like to talk about the culture of rural life. For those of us who live in rural Minnesota, we are surrounded by agriculture. Farmers are our heroes because they literally put bread and butter on the table, not only for us, but for the world. Due to the average age of farmers, it is estimated that 70% of land will change hands by 2031. In the coming decade, it is imperative that we support farmers, understanding both the personal and social implications at play for the future of farming and ranching. Examples are overcoming barriers that exist for family members to return home to the family farm, whether that's addressing childcare issues, healthcare issues, or supporting diversification and entrepreneurship for younger generations whose goals and expectations may vary from the previous generations. We also need to overcome the economic challenges for first-generation farmers. We need to acknowledge that the soil itself is an asset and we need to protect it from climate impact, support market opportunities for cover crops like Kernza, and incentivize farmers to adopt soil health practices. We must protect and uphold the small farmer because they are part of rural culture and identity, as well as rural economics. I am motivated, I am inspired to work with you and for you for the betterment of our rural communities. I appreciate and understand what it means not only to be in service, but the duty that this position holds for our district residents. I hope that I can count on your vote. Thank you so much for your time in watching this interview, and I wish you and your families health and abundant blessings.
You can find more information online about Edie Barrett at her website, ediebarrettformn.com. Next, the Republican candidate, Paul Anderson.
Hi, my name is Representative Paul Anderson, and first of all, thanks to Pioneer PBS for allowing candidates for the legislature to meet and visit with you and to share our views and opinions on the issues facing the state today. I'm a 14-year veteran of the state legislature in the House of Representatives, finishing up my 7th term. I've been through a couple of redistricting situations now, and the districts have really changed, at least for our District 12A in the upcoming election. I have some experience at the local level as well. I was a township officer back in Pope County for some over 20 years. I served on the Starbucks School Board and was also a member of the Board of Commissioners at the Pope County Board in Glenwood in Pope County. My experience, I think, entails me to represent all areas of District 12A, and I enjoy serving in St. Paul and just wish to continue and use my experience to benefit all the segments of our new district. We have agriculture, we have tourism, we have ethanol plants, we have a university branch at Morris, and just a strong industrial base as well. So glad to be here tonight and want to continue serving the people of District 12A in the state legislature.
Why do you want to be the representative for your district?
I'd like to serve the people of District 12A. I think my situation as a farmer legislator is somewhat unique. I can bring a background of how legislation we pass in St. Paul actually affects the people back home in the district, whether you be in business or an educator or a farmer or whatever. There are real ramifications to what we do in St. Paul, and I think that I can have an access to that and to help craft some common sense regulations and legislation to help the people in not only our district, but in the entire state as well. Basically, I like to help people, and whether it be constituent services, helping folks wade through the bureaucracy of St. Paul, or major issues in the legislature, I just like to help people. And with my seniority, being down there for 14 years, I served previously, when last in the majority, as the chair of the House Ag Policy Committee. And this past biennium, I was the lead Republican on the Agriculture, Finance, and Policy Committee. So I'm in line to be a committee chairman back in session in St. Paul come January. So the experience it plays a great deal in how things get done in St. Paul. You know how to contact the right people and to get things done. And I feel that I'd like to be part of the move to stop some of the things that are happening in St. Paul. Namely, I have to mention the California Clean Car Standards that is being pushed through, not by the legislature, but by Governor Walz and the Pollution Control Agency. I haven't talked to a lot of people who are in favor of that plan. It's going to take action by the legislature or a governor to rescind that policy and put Minnesota back into a policy of letting the market decide what we do in terms of offering vehicles to the public here in Minnesota.
What are your priorities for the next legislative session?
A lot of things to work on in the upcoming legislative session. I think the first thing I would focus on, if I'm a committee chair of the Ag Committee, is to craft a strong agricultural bill, which means adequate funding, but also with the reemergence this fall of bird flu, the avian bird flu, that is a big concern for producers of poultry as well going forward. We have to make sure the department is well funded and has the tools necessary to fight this outbreak again of bird flu here in Minnesota and also really across the nation. I also want to work on a tax bill. We came close to getting one done in the previous session. It contains some good features for agriculture, including the beginning farmer tax credit, an increase in the ag homestead, and also the ag to school tax credit as well. So more work to do on the ag side and the tax side, and also I should mention eliminating what's the double taxation on Social Security benefits for people in Minnesota. We're one of the few states that still tax those benefits, and I'm going to work hard to try to make sure that we eliminate that tax in Minnesota. Another big thing to work on, and one thing we didn't get done last session, is to increase the reimbursement rates for nursing homes in Minnesota. They are facing a critical shortage of workers, as are many industries across the state, but especially in nursing homes where their wage scales are actually tied to the reimbursement rates that Minnesota allows them to charge, and also things like how quickly they're reimbursed when inflation hits and their costs, their food purchases, for example, increase greatly. We have to shorten that pace, the time in which they can be reimbursed for increased costs. So that is a high priority. And also I strongly believe in local roads and bridges. That means a bonding bill. So transportation is a key here in our part of the state. A bonding bill will help that with our local roads and bridge funds in Minnesota.
What unique perspective do you bring to the Minnesota House?
Well, as I mentioned earlier, I am a farmer, live up in Pope County, raise corn, soybeans, and wheat. And that gives me a unique perspective to actually see and have direct impact of the policies that we pass in St. Paul and how they would directly affect farmers. As an example of that, in the last session, there was a move to ban or eliminate the use of timed release fertilizer in Minnesota. Now that's one of the best management practices we have for keeping fertilizer, and especially nitrogen, on the soil, in the fields, and not being washed down the rivers. So we were successful in having that eliminated from the ag bill. So having the knowledge of what some of those practices would have a direct impact on Minnesota farmers, I think gives me a unique perspective to help craft legislation that is positive for the producers in Minnesota.
What is your vision for the future of Minnesota?
My vision for Minnesota, we have a great state, no doubt about it, but I would like to have our state be more responsive to the public, the people that actually pay the taxes and do the things that get things done in this state. We need to be less cumbersome in the regulation and rulemaking process. I've talked to several business owners that have said that if they had known how difficult it would be to get their permits from the MPCA, they might not do it again in Minnesota. We have to change that and put some time frames, time guidelines on this permitting process, and to make it easier, not any less difficult, but still have good regulations and protect our air and water, but just increase those timelines so we can get this process done quicker and help businesses expand in Minnesota. Public safety is a huge issue. Crime is up in our major cities, I think 70%. We have to stop what's happening in our cities, and I think that comes down to getting a regained respect for law enforcement, public safety. Our police do a wonderful job protecting us and our society. We have to get our police forces up to full strength. It's not the job of the State Patrol, I don't think, to be working in downtown Minneapolis, but that is happening now too often as situations arise down there. We have to increase funding for police retention and recruitment, and also make sure we have laws that are enforced by prosecutors and judges to make sure that people get the punishments that are required when the people break the law here in Minnesota. Career tech education, a big topic. We are seeing more and more people looking at the technical colleges and getting jobs after a 2-year program, for example, reducing student debt and getting out in our job force and getting jobs that need to be filled here in Minnesota.
And now, a closing statement.
Well, thanks again to Pioneer PBS for hosting the program. And again, my name is Paul Anderson, 7-term representative in the State House, and would appreciate support in this new District 12A here in Minnesota. I've mentioned that I think I'm able to work with both sides of the aisle, and as evidence of that, I've been endorsed by both the Minnesota Farm Bureau and the Minnesota Farmers Union. So again, both the key ag groups in the state, and I enjoy working with both of those groups on issues affecting agriculture here in Minnesota. I'd like to see our state get back to a more all-inclusive energy policy, in that green energy is fine, but that has to be backed up with either coal, natural gas, or nuclear, and we need to make sure that our rates don't go up too fast, and also maintain the reliability of our electric grid system in Minnesota and across the nation. My vision for the state is that we are competitive with our neighboring states. Some of our tax policies do not allow that to happen. In our border areas, for example, we need to make sure that we have incentives and such to help our border cities as they compete for jobs and businesses with our neighbors in the Dakotas, Wisconsin, and also in Iowa. But I've enjoyed being here tonight, and I like to have a voice of reason and common sense in the Minnesota House of Representatives. And again, my name is Representative Paul Anderson, and thank you for listening tonight to the speaking here on the Pioneer PBS.
You can find more information online about Paul Anderson at his Facebook page, facebook.com/RepPaulAnderson. Learn more about voting, how to register, and what district you live in by visiting the Minnesota Secretary of State website at mnvotes.org. Remember, Election Day is Tuesday, November 8th. Thank you for watching Meet the Candidates on Pioneer PBS.